issue. Even before they came, I'm sure if I ask you, you will answer the same question. The observers are not alone in what they said. This is what everybody has observed. I was watching your morning news this morning. APC caucus in the National Assembly, PDP caucus in the National Assembly came and complained. Labour Party complained, and it's same. It is vibrated everywhere. Peter Obi has spoken, Jonathan has spoken, and so on and so forth. Unfortunately, that's what at times I give thumbs up to former President Muhammadu Buhari. The elections he conducted under his regime, opposition parties won those some states, even when he was in power. Same for Jonathan. But why? You know already the president promised that Edo is going to APC even before the elections came. And some people were saying, how do you talk like this? Are you now saying that the election will be rigged in favor of APC? And it has happened. Now, Ondo is coming. You think that people will be confident that the election will go well? They've already
threatened Anambra
yes.
too.
You think that will be confident to come and vote in the Ondo election? Then we'll start talking about 2027. If these things continue, how is 2027 going to be? This country, I pray for God's intervention in this country. If this is going to be where they're going, well, I think we're in trouble. I think we are in trouble, honestly. So what the observer said is what every other Nigerian has said. We have seen it. It's manifest. Let me not talk about the one that happened in ENUGU last week. Let me not go there. You saw how it happened. You saw how it happened. In many places, there were nothing happened. And we are now churning out figures. You know, the world analysis already, I say, I hope that this boycott that we're seeing, people not coming out, will be reflected in figures. Eventually, what the report told us is not what the results showed. We are now seeing hundreds of thousands.
We are not NSEC, you know. We just
I'm saying, I'm not blaming you. You did a beautiful. I keep commending you for the work you did on Saturday. You did a beautiful work, but hasn't it been messed up by what we are seeing? So I mean, it's very sad.
Right.
Okay, let's look at the party crisis, Labour Party crisis, factions battle over Obi sanction.
Battle over
Obi sanctions. I mean, there have been talks about the tussle in the Labour Party. Abure is angry that Obi and Alex Oti, the governor of Abia State, did a meeting in Abia State, and he's now saying that there will be no automatic tickets for Oti and Peter Obi. And there have been crises also. We have had a senator representing Anambra Central here who also explained why they took the action that they actually did, because Abure's tenure had expired, and Abure refused clearly to organize another election for that for the executives. But going forward, what do you see happen with Labour Party?
Honestly, I am not quite happy with what is happening in Labour Party, because it's like they want to dash the hopes of millions of Nigerians that stood by it before, during, and after the 2020 elections. And if they do that, that would be unfair, and that would be helping the government in power to continue what they're doing. But we need strong voices, strong opposition voices, alternative voices to talk to this government. But when you're in disarray, you know, you can come up tomorrow and talk to the government. They'll tell you we are not able to manage your party. So how sure we can even manage a country?
But so every party is having one crisis or the other.
Crisis should not be way of life. Crisis should not be a way of life. So that people commit sin should not be making custom of people. So all I'm saying is that I don't think they have managed that crisis very well. Even Obi, I think that at the point he should have spoken out. He didn't speak out early enough, because he gave Abure the impression that he was behind him along the line. Until he had this critical state when Oti. I mean, what Oti did was what he would have done much earlier than Oti came in. He's the leader of the party, as the presidential candidate of the party. He's number one person in the party. So there are times to come out hard and take a position on an issue. People will know. At the point, I was wondering, where does Obi stand on this matter? I may be wrong, but I don't think he came out at the time he should have come up to take a bold step. And if I have taken a bold step as earlier than now, this would have gotten to this stage that it is now. That's my opinion. But after all said and done, it's not late. I think that they should also, everybody has a price. If you call Abure, I'm sure there is a language that will speak with Abure, he'll pipe down, and then they reform the party and make it what it is. I'm sure that if the obedience are not, they shouldn't be allowed to scatter, because that would be more. That would be worse for the youth population that have lined up behind the party. Really.
I'm just thinking, what would most likely be the repercussions as relates to the way the thing stands right now? It looks like there's a conspiracy against Abure, because if there was a constitution of the Labour Party that everybody was following, it does look like Peter Obi and Alex Otti did not call Abure's attention to it, that your tenure is expiring. You better organize this thing quickly in order to get these things going. If you're staying longer, you stay longer. Because it was even INEC that was telling Abure that his tenure has expired. So I was wondering, what's the role of INEC in what's going on in Labour Party?
The ombudsman, they have the constitution now. That's why even when you are doing a convention, you must bring INEC in. Everything you do in your party, there must be INEC involvement. That's what the law says. Because they will be sure that you are not, they're following your own rules. They have not done anything wrong. Well, I'm saying that, like you said, I think that Obi didn't step into this matter early enough. It's even that Oti that is doing what this last minute, turn around. It is Obi that is even, it is Oti that is even doing it. I think that he didn't come out early enough. Because I was watching, it's a long time I wanted to hear him say this. I'm sure if I called, like you said, if I had called Abure early enough, at the early stage of this, and I said, you are progressing in error. Maybe we're not going to this stage. The stage is got to now. So, but let's hope that they'll be able to manage the situation. Really, we need that situation properly managed.
One thing about party crisis I found that is that it can is an avenue to mar their chances or to make them, taking what happened in Edo, the party crisis of PDP, their internal affairs. I think it played a bigger role in the outcome of what we're seeing now in Edo State. And taking it back to Labour Party, don't you see that this intra-party crisis is going to cost them 2027 chance?
There's not that. Let's leave Edo alone. Edo is a messed up election. Let us not say it because of it was PDP in crisis. Let's not mix up matters. You know what the observers have said. We have also said so. So you don't assume that it is because Labour was in crisis. That was why the APC
PDP actually was. They have their internal affairs.
The election was messed up. Let us leave that one that way. Let us not mix up issues. So that we do as if we give soft landing to the people who rigged the election. That one is a different issue. Let's just face it. Of course, there's no doubt that when you are in crisis, things will not work as planned. No doubt about that. That's why we'll call on the members of the party, the stakeholders, the top notchers in the party. They should come together as quickly as possible and remedy the situation. Let them call Abure. A case of going to court or quarreling or whatever. There must be roundtable conference discussion. Let them come and judge you out of the situation. Corruption agency be strong. That's how countries grow. Because if anyone gets weakened, it makes the entire system to be weak.
Speaking of strength for our institutions, so many persons have said there are certain things that must be done almost immediately, or even should have been done since. For instance, in the appointment of the leadership of INEC, like the chairman of INEC, it shouldn't be done by the president or the presidency, whatever that is. It should be done like maybe the gathering of maybe
INEC officials, or the
judiciary, or maybe a committee that is
Nigerian judiciary.
No, well, a judicial committee or something appointed
of Nigerian judicial officers.
Well, I don't know. Is there a way we can get the situation where it is done not directly, because
by the president?
The president is more like an interested party in the whole elections. I mean, look at the mess that has happened in those states. If the chairman is independent of the president, or not appointed by the president, or not sacked at the president's will and caprices, something would have been changing.
Yes, you guys are still much younger. I was a grown-up when Professor Humphrey was organized an election in this country. He was appointed by the president. I was of, you know, when Jega did his own, he was appointed by the president. Compare the elections conducted by Mosu. It's still adjudged as the best in this country. He was appointed by the president. It's a question of the integrity factor of the individual. Let me tell you, this president I'm seeing today in Nigeria, go and appoint anybody from anywhere. I mean, the point is has to do with integrity of the person who is appointed. It's not about who is appointing the person. If you have a prize, you'll be bought over, no matter how you are appointed. And even our judiciary, is it peopled by saints? We've heard what has happened in this. I mean, don't drag me to what I don't want to talk about. Is our judiciary immune from what is happening in this country? Are they immune from corruption? Or you go to the National Assembly, all these things are confirmed by National Assembly. Who are in the National Assembly? Who are there? Are they not the people who are now saying thumbs up for you've won, we've gone, we have conquered Edo, we are now going to Ondo, from Ondo we're going to Anambra. We want to turn the country to a one-party state. It is not how the person is appointed. It's about let Nigerians begin to be ashamed of themselves. You are a professor after many years in the university and you are given an appointment to acquit yourself, make a name for your country, you come and mess up your name. I don't think it has to do with appointment because there is no, which segment of this country is clean to be able to read the appointment. I hope you're getting my line of thought. It is not about who appoints. And there is no, so there is no influence in this country, that cannot be influenced in this country. I hear they're building portals, whatever, for judicial officers in Abuja and so on and so forth. Beautiful. They have increased their pay and so on and so forth. But let them respect themselves. Let Nigerians respect themselves. It is let every Israelis respect themselves, including myself, you, all of us. Let us respect ourselves. There's something called integrity. Integrity factor is what is lacking in this. Integrity matters a lot.
All right.
It's not about who is appointing who.
That's where we are going to call it off on this edition, because if you keep on talking, you're not going to exhaust everything today. All right. Thank you very much, Lawrence. Law. I want to call you the law, the bench, the bar. Okay, and that it is on this signature morning on today's review. We'll be heading ahead to another segment. Do stay with us. You're still live here on Signature Morning on Signature Television. This has been awesome morning with you. Today is Thursday, like I said earlier, and it is throwback. Well, let's not talk about something that happened before. Let's talk about continuous something. We're talking about youth empowerment, and when you hear youth empowerment, everyone want to come close. You know, we want to hear why and how can I partake in youth empowerment, and what are the strategies and or outline of empowering the youth. And joining us this morning is Solomon Obiesie. He's a project manager, or you can call him a project coordinator. Good morning and welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Good morning.
How are you doing this Thursday?
Good morning.
Okay,
Thank you, Mr. Charles.
I can see you're wearing something about youth. What is it about?
Youth
Awakening
Youth
and
Awakening
development.
and Development
Okay,
Initiative,
youth
yes.
awakening. Okay, it's all about the youth. It's all about the youth. So, in a nutshell, what is youth empowerment all about, and how possible? What are the possibilities, or what are the things that are supposed to be put in place to be able to, make sure that youth get empowered?
Okay. Once again, good morning. Okay. Youth empowerment is, I would want to say, is any activity that give people the privilege or the opportunity to want to take charge of their life. This activity could be in form of training them on their skills, but generally it's about equipping them and giving them the opportunity to exercise some form of control over their life. So in the past we have seen so many youth programs, youth empowerment programs, one of which I think happened recently in one of the northern states, where one of the governors introduced a youth empowerment program.
Okay.
Funny enough, I think I remember that Balo or something was shared to the people of that state. But that was all in a bid to, empower the people. I want to even commend that idea of even thinking about empowering the people. But you see, beyond that, youth empowerment actually talks about, first of all, empowering the minds of the youth, right? So you want to think about activities that empower the mind of the people. Then you take it further to even empowering them financially. So what we do at Youth Awakening and Development Initiative is that we gather people, especially the youth. We train them on specific skills, on specific skills. I have to say that because we don't look at all the skills. We select skills that are in line and in sync with the present reality.
The trends, yeah.
Yes, 21st century skills. So we look at those skills and we train them. But beyond training them, we also go further to empower them. And I think that's where we do a significant project, because basically, if you look at what has been done in the past, empowerment is just giving people material and you just allow them to go. There isn't any form of follow-up, no mentorship. So, but in Youth Awakening and Development Initiative, we have also looked at that, and we have designed a creative way of not just empowering them, but also mentoring them, ensuring that these resources that are given to them after their trainings, that they are utilized properly. So,
well, let me ask you this,
okay.
Because again, it becomes really funny, the example that you gave earlier. How much of mind awakening can you really do for a youth who you would empower at the end of the day with a wheelbarrow?
With a shovel or cutlass. Well,
I don't get it. It's
To help your cars.
so you empower my mind. At the end of the day, you give me wheelbarrow.
You see,
do
I
work.
think
to aid labor.
you see why that is funny, but I also think that the idea is that the government is also thinking, I want to even begin by that there is need for people to even be empowered, right? But it's just that the method of that empowerment is what we can also begin to question, right? So yes, it is important to empower the mind first. It is very, very important to empower the mind. So, but after empowering the mind, that is where I think that the government also fails. you should follow it up with proper trainings, proper mentorship. And that is why I said that is where youth empowerment and initiative comes in with their creativity. Because beyond just, it's not about the material you give them at the end of the day. Probably that could be a way to even start them up. Though it's wrong, I'm not saying, I'm not trying to hold brief for them, but I think that beyond the resources you give to them, how are these resources managed? You know, how are these resources properly implemented to ensure that this empowerment you have done, that is being utilized? You can give somebody money, and after that training, the person goes home and use the money to pay for his house rent, or use the money to even feed, because of course there are many challenges people are facing. But that is where I said that's where our creativity comes in, so that after the training, we now have a follow-up, a mentorship kind of program, where we begin to actually ensure that this money that you are giving, is being used for the purpose for which it's given.
Are they interested? Are Nigerian youth interested? Because every now and then you hear youth empowerment. And at the end of the youth empowerment, you still see the numbers of poverty or poverty-stricken numbers reduced further. You know, so it's assumed that the youth empowerment programs are not even working. I mean, there are several youth empowerment across the country.
Of course.
The one that the government is doing, the one that CBN is doing, the one that the state is doing, the one that the Ministry of Land, it's just everywhere. But at the end of the day, you will see that this empowerment don't even, there's nothing to show for it. At the end of the year, you see that people who are supposed, that people who are even out of jobs more, and you see that people who have been empowered have gone bankrupt.
Yes.
Even the empowerment, the equipment that have been given to them has disappeared. They sell them off, and then they look out for another empowerment program. So you wonder, has this empowerment program over the years even made any sense at all?
Okay, you see, it takes me to what I said before, that the design of the program should also be questioned. How is this program even run? All right, so just like you said, after empowering them, what next? You know, because, of course, if you give somebody who is hungry money after training him, the first thing he will think about is to feed, is to eat. But that's why I said mentorship becomes an important tool to ensure that that empowerment doesn't go to waste. And I think that's where the government miss it, right? So they just gather people, train them, you know, speak a lot of grammar, invest resources. And at the end of the day, you see that resources go to waste because there is no proper design, there is no proper follow-up, there is no mentorship, as it were, to ensure that you don't just give people money. People have different reasons for money. Probably when he was coming for the program, he had in mind to utilize that resources. But when he left the program, he met with another problem. So what does he do? He now begins to, you know, gamble between whether to use the money for the purpose for which he was trained for, or to use it to solve his problem. So that is where mentorship comes in. So even, I think that we should even begin to think of another way. If not that, probably it's a program we are running, but I would have said that one of the things the government should even do is to, you know, you don't just train people and let them go. You train people and you follow it up, like I keep saying, you follow it up. So instead of giving them money, why not use that money to even set them up? Instead of just paying in the money to them or giving them the money, you set up a business and you monitor the growth of that business. You ensure there is continuous check as to what they are doing with the money. So to even respond to your question, I think that the youth are also interested in youth empowerment, right? But one of the things that would be the challenge is, like I said, the method through which the program is being run. The youth generally are interested because in the programs that we have had in the past, we saw that a lot of youths came out for the program. Even the one we held in April, so many people came out. People are interested, all right, because there is hunger and there is poverty in the land. So anything that would actually help you, you know, solve that problem, you would be interested in it. But like I keep saying, the method, that is what becomes questionable.
What skill do you think are the most viable right now for youth in Nigeria to embark upon to at least ameliorate the immediate hunger and hardship in the land?
Okay, you see that question there, anytime I'm asked that question, I'm beginning to think that we have paying so much attention to digital skills. That's because we are living in a digital world, so we would not take that out of context. But another thing is that there are also skills that are beginning to fizzle out.
Okay.
And if you ask me, and I think that we should also begin to look even at those skills.
Can you mention some of them?
Okay. Of course, you look at the textile industry, all right, the fashion, clothing line. People are beginning to look away from that area. People are no longer interested in moving into, in fact, when you even look at even carpentry, all of these hard skills, they are called hard skills, but they are skills that I still believe that people, if they begin to look and we focus digital skills, that's we link it back to maybe technology and all of that, it will pay more. All right, but you know, like I said, we are living in the 21st century, so we will not really like that off, that people should get digital skills like video editing, content creating, web design, and all of those skills, which is basically what we are also doing now, you know, to make sure that our youth are also in sync with this line of discipline. All right, but I'm also saying that beyond that, we should also look at some of the skills that, you know, seem to be outdated or we seem to not paying attention to now, that these skills can also be, you know, modernized. We can also add technology to it to also ensure that we modernize it.
Well, are you like you said, modernizing those skills?
Yes, we are thinking in that line. We are thinking, in fact, the next set of trainings and youth empowerment program we are going to be having would be in that line.
Because I believe that even the digital skills are in everywhere. For instance, you made mention of content creation, right? You can, as a carpenter, you can create content with your work. You can, you know, take your audience through the process of making a particular chair. You can video it, and still people are so interested. So I think you can develop a website for your company.
Yes. That's why I said that we will look at how to, and I think that's where the government comes in. Government should be creative, right? So, like you said, how do we now bring technology into these areas, into these skills that seem to have been forgotten? And that is where I think that the government should begin to bring in their creativity and begin to think in that line. So you can look at carpentry. How do you use technology to promote that industry? Fashion. How do you use technology to promote that industry? All right. So it becomes an industry that is digitalized on its own. So
okay. So for digital skills, what specifically are the most viable? I understand that you spoke about content creation. Not everybody would create content, but what other skill within the digital space do you think that youth can back up on that is viable?
Okay, I think everybody with a smartphone creates content basically. It doesn't matter the kind of content you are creating. Everybody with a smartphone now does, you know, anything. Web design, what is it called? Graphic designs and all of those things. Video editing, digital marketing. So those are the skills I think that, you know, you can start up with, even as somebody who is even going into digital skill for the first time. All right, and it is very viable, right? But you know, the truth is that there is also need for training in some of these things. There is also need for education, and that's where Youth Awakening comes in, because you need to understand how these skills work. What do you need to do? What do you need to get? What should be in place before you begin to talk about these skills, right? So that is where Youth Awakening comes in. That is where our program now comes in. So we take you through that process of telling you this is how to commercialize or monetize these skills. Because you can go ahead and learn content creation, you can go ahead and learn video editing, and you just be doing it without, you know, making money out of it, without knowing that these skills can actually pay you. Most of the big guys we have in industries today, in the digital industry, some of them, they started with their phones, creating content and posting, but they also went through that phase of training, getting knowledge, and, learned about how to monetize it. So you can start off with just getting a phone, and then you are being taught the process of monetizing those skills, and you can
one of the problems I discovered that youth, because of it, you tends to shy away from, joining all this organization or coming out for an empowerment program is the fact that when you come out, you see them being said, you have to bring certain amount of money to register. You have to bring this money to register. And to a young person out there who is struggling, maybe a barrel pusher who is struggling to even eat on a day there, you are telling the person to pay a certain amount of money for you to empower him or her. You see that the person is going to go back and say, oh, I'm bringing money. No, I'm not doing it again. And when you talk about also other digital skills, you see, there are some digital skills that require the person investing in it. You have to bring certain amount of money, invest in it, they train you, and then you wait, they take you through the process before you begin to earn a living. Now, without the person having money, are there things you guys are doing? Are you guys collecting money? Are these people going to pay for these empowerment programs and stuff like that to, partake in this?
If programs? I say we don't collect money, it's going to put us in somewhat position, right? Yes, we are starting off. For instance, the skills we have done so far, we did not collect money. It's a free scale-up program, right? But I also know that if in the future the sizes increases, there may be need for us to collect money. Reason is that we pay facilitators for this program. We pay the people that come to teach. Most times we pay for the venue where these trainings happen. Most times we have to even pay for even the tools for the training. All right, so some of these things cost money. All right, and I think that, again, I would want to also say that that is also where the government should come in. That is where NGOs should come in. All right, so that organizations like this that have the desire or the vision to train people shouldn't go through the process of, spending so much in doing this. There should be some form of collaboration, partnership with the government. All right, because yes, the truth is that I've seen in the time past, or even using the programs we have done, to also say that people are interested in learning, right? One of the challenges they may have is funding, or who would pay for them. And that is why you see most youth organizations come out and they struggle, right? Because it takes a lot to train people. It takes a whole lot to train. So the government should play a pivotal role in ensuring that people are trained. All right, there should be some of subsidiary or even sponsorship or partnership or collaboration, whatever term you want to use, to ensure that such programs run smoothly or, run effectively. The idea is that the people should get trained. And, so many advantages of training people, apart from the fact that you train their mind, you make them resourceful. Again, is the fact that they begin to contribute to the growth of that community. They begin to, help to see that the community becomes a better place, because a trained mind will not think of going into crime and criminality. So the government should come into this. They should come into this and support organizations with the vision of training people. So that's what I just want to start.
So how do you identify a fake empowerment program? Because there are so many. There are so many out there. You know that. So some people will come like they want to assist you, they want to help you. They come with all bogus sort of things. Some of them even go as far as even announcing these things on radio.
Yeah,
on
radio
TV.
and television.
And then at the end of the day, you find out that upon all the payments that you have made, they tend to scratch the surface. They don't really teach you the main thing. How to identify a fake empowerment program.
Well, I think that because of the interest, people want to get trained. So yes, it is true that so many people want to take advantage of, you know, people's desperation to come out of poverty, right? So the first thing you need to do, even as a person, is that, of course, you should ask questions, all right? Check their track record. These people that are saying that they want to train me, have they done a training before? Of course, there also may be the chances that they have not. Maybe that is their first time of going into training, because, of course, we also had our first time of training. So, but then you should make your inquiries, ask questions, you know. Just making inquiries could help you. Doing your investigations right could help you. These people, the trainees, you can even go as far as even meeting them one-on-one, the facilitators one-on-one, asking questions, trying to trace them back. What have they done in the past? This particular person saying this, even his own life, is he even trained? Can he also, because you need to be empowered to empower another person, right? So this person doing this, is he also empowered? Can he also do this thing? All right, because if not, anybody will want to take advantage of anybody, right? So I think that the basic or the first step is to begin to ask questions. You ask questions, what is this organization all about? Look at their vision and mission. Look at what they say they want to do. Is it even possible that they can do it? For instance, if I say I want to train and I mention all the skills, is it possible? And I'm telling you I want to do it in 1 month, is it possible? I want to do it in 1 week, is it possible? Someone will tell you that you will make 1 million naira in 1 week, is it possible? What is the steps? So you look at these things, and of course that would also help you make an informed decision.
Well, for you as someone who is playing in that field, and as someone who's experienced, what are those areas you think that people embark upon, or some of these organizations embark upon, that is easy to sell to people to be vulnerable? I don't know if you understand the question.
Yes. I think that, you know, people want to, okay, let me use the local parlance. People want to cash out, right? and that desperation to cash out is always a driving force, or something that they can always cash out on to, you know, sell their market. You get? So because of that desperation, that people just want to make quick money, quick gains. So even without telling them you are organizing a program, just share a link, share whatever, tell them to do this and do that. You see people jump into it because of that desperation to make money. Of course, there is hunger in the land. So they want to take advantage of that opportunity. But one of the things you should ask yourself is, how true is this? Because, of course, you shouldn't take your sense of reasoning out of the line when you are hearing some of these things. You are going to make 10 million naira in 1 month. How? There should be a process to making that 10 million naira. So if you don't see the process, that means it's not true. If I have to share a link to 10 people to make 20 million naira, how is that true? So some of these things can also help.
So people should watch their desperation.
Yes, the desperation.
And also watch the process that leads them to making the money before they embark upon.
Thank you very much.
Just like you said, desperation and cashing out. Someone said yesterday that today they're going to cash out. I think he's tapping on his tapping. Was it Hamster?
Yes.
But then today, so the guy had to come to me and say, today, Belinda, I was cash out. I think it's a trend, you know, but it's been an awesome time, I would say. I hope that people out there, you know, will know the real ones. Like Charles said, we identified the fake people, the fake empowerment programs, those that want to, you know, take from them instead of empowering them. Because I wanted to ask you when you started, how do you guys make your money? Yes. How do you guys make your money? If you keep on empowering people and all of, I'm always interested. You want to empower me. How do you make your own money?
I don't want to take you through that phase. The reason is that, you see, because of the environment where we live in, and because of the government's, would I say, ineptitude to some of these things, government seems not to be interested. It usually makes it very, very difficult for organizations like this. And that is why you see organization starts with a good intention. Sometimes I don't blame them, because even the process you have to go through to even, you know, bet your vision, you know, is very, very difficult. You meet government, you write to even NGO, even government sectors or departments that should be in charge of programs like this. You still meet them, and at the end of the day, they turn you down. So it's a difficult phase. I just want to say that. Like I said, I don't want to take you through the process because it has not been easy for us, right? And that is where we also want to, you know, advocate for private partnership. People should begin to come into some.
Yeah, we're open to that. We would give you coverage to
Yeah,
your government programs to the extent that, you know, you meet us, you know, at a certain stage. You know, so we're
Thank you
open
very much. Thank you very much.
Okay, if that's all we can take, that's the most you can take because of time.
Oh,
thank you very much for coming. Solomon Obiesie.
Thank you
You're
very
project manager.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
you work for YADI. I can see that.
Yes.
YADI Youth Awakening and Development Initiative.
Yes,
thank you very much for
Thank you so much
your
for having
time.
me.
All right, we'll be calling on bringing to you the next segment, which is the Internet Watch. You must take a look at what's trending on the socials. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Welcome to Internet Watch, where we dive into the hottest online stories making waves. I'm your host, Joshua Oritogo. And today, we start with a scandal that has taken over social media platforms. Bobrisky's explosive bribery allegations involving the EFCC. Well, I'm going to say something, but it's something that we both know already. But famed for controversy, Bobrisky finds himself at the center of a bribery scandal after media activist Very Dark Man exposed an audio recording where Bobrisky allegedly admitted to bribing EFCC officials. Oof. In the recording, Bobrisky is heard explaining how he paid 15 million naira to have money laundering charges dropped. The viral audio leaked by Very Dark Man claims that Bobrisky, instead of serving a jail term, was taken to a private apartment to lay low, allegedly with help from influential figures. These allegations have prompted a serious response, with the EFCC opening an investigation into the claims. But then again, please, EFCC is investigating, is it today? Both Bobrisky and Very Dark Man have been invited by the EFCC to assist in their inquiries into this potential act of corruption within the agency. But then, is it not weird? Everyone, including you watching, suspected that Bobrisky wasn't in a real jail. And how come EFCC has always been on the news and been dragged by these people? Well, someone said it's only Yahoo boys EFCC can go after. But moving on, you're not going to hear it from me. It was someone who said it. Someone who said it. Well, just know, mind you, it's EFCC that is trending now. So let me take you to another interesting story. Former Governor Yahaya Bello of Kogi State is making headlines again. This guy is a celebrity. But this time, it's for dragging the EFCC. Yes, EFCC again. Dragging the EFCC to the Supreme Court. Bello is contesting the agency's handling of money laundering allegations against him, arguing that the EFCC has overstepped its bounds. This legal battle could redefine the agency's scope in dealing with high-profile political figures, and many are watching closely to see how this unfolds. Even I myself, I'm watching. I want to see what's going to go on. Is Yahaya Bello going to win this case with the EFCC? Bobrisky case just in the air. I think Yahaya Bello is just diving on the opportunity of the fact that EFCC is already trending with Bobrisky, seeing that they could have an atom of, not trusting. We not trusting them, and that issue of transparency. So he wants to bank on it. I'm just saying this is just a speculation. Please, my dear, let's move on. So from celebrity scandals to political shutdowns, these stories are lighting up the online space. Stay tuned for more, and comment section is on fire. So of course, let's go. Olufemi commented, "I'm not schooled at all. No be Nigeria again. Someone that EFCC is behaving like they are afraid of. A common past governor who obviously looted the state like it's his private company. if na Pablo, they won't go after, they won't go punch. They won't go punch him eye while arresting him. They carry gun, jump for boss like Rambo. But Yahaya Bello, all of a sudden, he's even the one suing EFCC. Wow, wow, such clownery. Omoya Yahoo Bello, accused of stealing 80.2 billion naira, went into hiding, lied about surrendering to authorities, and now hired a lawyer to drag EFCC to court. I mean, it's shameful. If nobody's going to say it, I'm going to say it. It's shameful. I came out to voice his own opinion. Well, if I were him, I would do the same after hearing last night that EFCC takes bribe to suppress a criminal charge. I mean, who wouldn't? This is what I'm saying. He's just taking advantage of the situation. I mean, who wouldn't? Exactly. You couldn't be corrupt. You can't be corrupt and trying to arrest me for being corrupt. This country is far gone. I mean, you are corrupt. It's obvious. We had the recording. Even no matter what they want to come and say now, people have heard it. Even if they say it's not true, it is what it is. I'm not surprised at all. These are all their plans. The plan is they will raid his house, shoot and scatter the area, then he will sue them to court, and the court will adjourn until the masses forget. Then we're back to where we are. Shame. Adeniyi, the news is not breaking to us anymore. Yahaya visited EFCC premises after he was declared wanted, but we saw their show of shame. I mean, it's shameful. Can you imagine? Yahaya Bello went even while he was declared wanted, and then he was still, you know, I think I saw the video. I don't want to show you guys, but then the video was just walking casually, like, who cares? Well, to our next story, have you ever been to the bank and wanted to use the ATM and you just got so disappointed? Like, you get to the bank, I don't want to call bank's name right now, but you can't get to the bank and then you can't even use anything. Well, maybe you are in luck. I said maybe intentionally. This government, now church Fulham. Not my words, but that of Nigerians. You can go on Twitter to check it to receipts. The Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, has announced it will penalize banks that fail to dispense cash via their ATMs. Banks that don't comply will face serious sanction as the CBN aims to improve access to cash for Nigerians. Nigerians, of course, are happy. Let me take you to the streets of the internet. Samsha, would this work? Sometimes I wonder why banks would have money on their ATM. Their organizations are not friendly after living on a hard-earned money. Kai. I mean, you go to the bank. You can even go inside the bank to withdraw any amount you want, but the ATM of the bank will never have money. Oof. Next, this person voiced his own opinion. These people are jokers. What happened to the CBN that failed to release money to the banks? But then again, if you enter the bank, in as much as you still want to blame CBN, you still have to check these banks. I mean, you will go to the bank, you will see that queues are filled up inside. You can't withdraw money at the ATM, or one is working in 5. Out of 5, one is just working. The icon commented, this is another PR, nothing would happen. I mean, everybody, just like I said earlier, I say Nigerians are seeing this country as nothing, no other action. Peter Sprint, what have they been holding the currency for anyways? This also will affect POS operators. POS operators are supposed to just be like a casual thing. The POS are supposed to actually be the ATMs that we now have now, which is now the reverse is the case. Rachel commented, they've been holding the cash so they can sell to POS operators. Most bankers have POS machines. You can imagine. So you go to the bank, I want to withdraw, you can't withdraw, you now have to go to POS, who's going to charge you 200 naira, 500 naira as the case may be. Northern Light, only for the press. In major cities in the north, I lamented the inconvenient and incessant lack of funds dispensing on bank ATMs. Thinking this couldn't be possible in Lagos. To my utter surprise, I was wrong. The non-dispensing experience in Lagos is the same, if not worse. I mean, be it Abuja, be it Lagos, be it ENUGU, be it Port Harcourt, be it anywhere. There is always that bank that has probably 10 ATM machines, but only has 1 or 2 dispensing cash. And guess what? It's dispensing 10,000 naira per withdrawal or 20,000 naira per withdrawal. Do you know how disappointing it is? Well, CBN has said they are going to be strict with banks like this. Hopefully, it comes to, be, and as it should not, as Nigerians will say, cho-cho-cho. It should not be cho-cho-cho. Forgive me, guys. I'm just saying. So that's all for today on Internet Watch. I'm your host, Joshua Oritogun, and it's been great having you with us as we navigated the top stories shaking up the online space, from Bobrisky's bribery scandal to Governor Bello's legal battle with the EFCC and the CBN's crackdown on banks. There's plenty to keep an eye on. Join us next time for more trending news and insights. Don't forget to go to all of our social media platforms, like, share, and subscribe. Subscribe. Hit that subscribe button. Yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate you for doing that. Well, until then, stay informed and stay connected. See you and stay jiggy.
That was the Internet's Watch. You stay on to Signature Morning on Signature Television. One important thing I wouldn't say, I think it's important, but it's striking to me, Charles, I want to call you Chris, is this issue of Bobrisky case with EFCC people and then VDM. That's very dark man, trending. And Falana is also trending. So, Charles, what do you think is the connection between VDM? Because a lot of people are coming against VDM to say, oh, you have to retrieve your statements on the social media.
Yeah. VDM came out and said that he has a proof that clearly that Bobrisky, while he was online, or that while he was in prison, apparently bribed some EFCC and correctional services men to basically allow him be at the correctional service VIP section.
Okay.
And so that didn't go down well with a whole lot of persons. EFCC is saying that they want to find out who was the officer in charge of that case, because there was also allegations that Bobrisky bribed the EFCC men at the tune of 15 million naira, and she bribed correctional services men who allowed him
to take a VIP.
Take a VIP section. And of course, VIP in the correctional services in Nigeria is, one, you are allowed to use your phone every now and then. You're allowed to even go out to party. You're allowed to even do anything, basically.
Go out to party, you mean like going out to party
you're
outside?
Not even, yes, you're not even meant to stay in the correctional facility.
Okay, you must not stay.
Yes,
but you be assumed
to be within the custody of. So that thing flared up. So a whole lot of people have been talking about it.
Because he came out looking plumpy and refreshed.
Yes, refreshed and excited that people even gave them money. Gave him money while he was
I
there.
watched one of his interview that he said he would want to go back to that.
Because he made a lot of money while he was there. Osimhen gave him money, Don Jazzy gave him money. Falana's son, Faz, the bad guy, claimed that he reached out to him to give him money in order for him to be able to, take care of himself while he's in prison. So there are a lot of people that he called to assist. And whereas all the time that he was there, he was not actually in prison. So there's investigation going on right now. The correctional services men who handled his matter are under investigation. EFCC is also investigating their own part, where they said that the EFCC officials gave them 15 million naira in order to release him. And then also we have so many suits going on, and I hope that very dark man, gets out of this matter, because he replied for the bad guy, and he also replied Falana, because they both gave him 24 hours to retract what he has said, alleging that there were bribery and corruption in that particular case.
I'm just wondering, there were 10 people arrested for treason. How many Nigerian entertainers or superstars reached out to them to help support these poor Nigerians who have been held, and charged treason?
First of all, I'm not sure they even have all these people's numbers. Bobrisky is a celebrity in his own right. he knows a lot of people. A lot of people know him because of the way and manner he has pushed himself, a cross-dresser and all of those things. So he's very popular with his stance, with his outlook. So he has the numbers of all of these people he can always call out. But the End Bad Governance protesters, I'm not sure they have these guys. And because they are being charged by the federal government can just bring up a trumped-up charges, anything, and say, oh, you were carrying flags. And even though they don't have evidences, at least they have intimidated you by keeping you in prison for this period of time. So next time, by the time you think of another protest, you'll be thinking of the thing that they did to you. So you will stay away. So it's a measure of, making them not to come out for protest, and also telling other people that if you try it, you will be charged for treason, like these people have been charged for
But do you think Bobrisky now is in trouble, like I'm saying? Because looking at him, she, I don't think he seemed bothered about what's going on. I haven't seen any of his comment on this issue.
I mean, yes, you wouldn't see, because he's a celebrity. If he goes in there again, I mean, he'll be out another 1 week or so. So I mean, it's neither here nor there, frankly. Yeah. I mean, it would be good for him not to even say a word.
No.
Let them do investigations, and whatever comes out of it, and he's done. After all, he served his jail term, and he's out, and he's fine. He made more money while he was there than he would. So he even said that he wants to go back. It's a plus for him.
All right, this is the discussion right here on Signature Morning. Let's move ahead to entertainment news.
Welcome to Entertainment News. I am Quincy Rowland, and I'll be your host on today's segment. So sit back as I take you on the journey into the world of entertainment. Moving on, we have comedian D1 addressed Very Dark Man, advising him to shift his attention solely to Bobrisky and stop dragging Falz and his father, Femi Falana, into the ongoing controversy. This is coming after Very Dark Man recently released audio recordings where Bobrisky allegedly claims that Femi Falana and his son Falz had contacted him prior to his release from prison. The recordings also suggested that Femi Falana arranged a settlement of 10 million naira to resolve the case. In response, the one urged VDM to focus on his issues with Bobrisky rather than involving Falz and his father. He accused VDM of trying to turn everyone against Bobrisky due to personal dislike. D1 also questioned why VDM asked Davido to intervene for him while criticizing Femi Falana for doing the same, clarifying that offering pardons is a common practice worldwide. British Nigerian rapper and singer Oluwa Fisayo Issa, popularly known as Darko, has revealed that music isn't her first love. The favorite girl hits maker said football was her passion. Speaking in a recent podcast interview, Darko revealed that she decided to switch careers from football to music because she fainted while playing football on one occasion. And we have American rapper Meek Mill has revealed that he wants to hire an investigative team to find out why he's being linked to Sean Combs, aka Diddy. Recall that Diddy was recently arrested by Homeland Security on suspicion of sex trafficking, racketeering, conspiracy, and interstate transportation of prostitution. Following his arrest, Diddy's past and present associates have been under media scrutiny. Reacting to the media scrutiny, Meek Mill said he was willing to hire an investigative team for $100,000 to find out about the involvement of his name in Didi's case. He also said he's interested in finding out those empowering the media to involve him in the scandal. Meanwhile, Diddy has denied all the charges, entering a not guilty plea on Tuesday, 17 September. However, the Bad Boy record boss bail request was rejected twice. And we have Swiss designer Kevin Germania did not spare on glitters, rhinestones, and tassels for his Spring-Summer 2025 collection in Paris Fashion Week. He called his collection Le Disastrices, a play on words with stars and astrology, with two creations calling to meet RuPaul's Drag Race and fantasy creatures. Germania is known to use recycled materials. In this case, remains from Olympics costumes and from previous collections, as well as from a student project. Paris Fashion Week, which features some of the biggest labels, includes Chanel, Louis Vuitton, Hermes, and Kering owns St. Laurent, follows industry shows in New York, London, and Milan early this month. It concludes on Tuesday, October 1st. Japanese gaming giant Nintendo will open a museum next week showcasing its history, where fans of Super Mario, The Legend of Zelda, and the Game Boy and Switch can gain insight into one of the world's most renowned game makers. Located in Uji near the company's Kyoto headquarters, the museum underscores the many evolutions of Nintendo, which was founded in 1889 as a maker of Japanese playing cards, is now a global gaming giant. The museum opens to the public on October 2nd, and tickets of its website are sold out for the following 2 months. The museum also follows a range of interactive experiences, with visitors able to partner to play the video game Super Mario Bros. While a push into the mobile gaming has tapered off, other efforts by Nintendo to expand beyond its core gaming business have gained traction, with the company opening stores and employing its roster of characters in theme parks and film. That's it on Entertainment News. I remain your host, Quincy Rowland. Don't forget to like, share, and follow us on all the social media handles. See you same station, same time. Thank you for watching.
That was entertainment, a great line of information for your pleasure. Let's head over to some business.
The Nigerian government is set to introduce a tax identification consolidation and collaboration (TICC) initiative as part of the Economic Stabilization Bills (ESB) to be submitted to the National Assembly. This initiative aims to widen the tax net and create a level playing field for businesses across the country. The proposed reforms will allow for federal-state collaboration to suspend certain taxes on small businesses and vulnerable populations. The government is also looking to provide additional funding for student loan scheme, further expanding the scope of its economic stabilization efforts. The introduction of the TICC is part of Nigeria's broader Accelerated Stability and Advancement Plan (ASAP), which includes amendments to 15 bills approved by the Federal Executive Council. Flour Mills of Nigeria (FMN) plc, a leading food and agro-allied business, has announced plans to buy out its minority shareholders after receiving regulatory approval from the Nigerian Exchange Limited (NGX) and the Securities and Exchange Commission (SEC). The buyout, part of a larger scheme of arrangement, will streamline FMN's ownership structure, positioning it for greater efficiency and agility. According to FMN Group Managing Director Boye Olusonya, the movement is in line with the company's strategy to become a dominant Pan-African food business. The buyout proposal will be voted on at a court-ordered meeting requiring approval from at least 75% of shareholders present. If passed, it will enable FMN to consolidate its management, attract more investment, and continue its expansion plans across Africa. Nigeria has witnessed an increase in its exports to Niger Republic following the reopening of borders earlier this year. According to the National Bureau of Statistics, Nigeria's export volume to Niger surged by 204% in the second quarter of 2024, climbing from 6.72 billion naira in the first quarter of 2024 to 20.46 billion naira in the second quarter. The reopening of borders implemented by President Bola Tinubu in March followed the period of partial shutdown due to political unrest in Niger Republic. The resumption of cross-border trade has not only boosted economic activities between the two countries, but has also provided relief for businesses that rely on this trade route. This increase in trade volume is seen as a positive development for Nigeria's economy as it enhances bilateral trade relations and contributes to economic stability in the region. Nigeria's tourism sector is showing signs of growth with over 1.2 million international visitors recorded in 2023, alongside a 20% increase in domestic trips. This was disclosed by Minister of Tourism Lola Adejan during the 20th edition of the Akwaba African Travel and Tourism Market held in Lagos. The minister noted that tourism contributed 3.65%, that's $17.3 billion, to Nigeria's GDP in 2022, employing approximately 1.91 million people annually. She highlighted Nigeria's rich cultural heritage, which includes over 1,000 annual festivals, 2 UNESCO World Heritage Sites, and numerous parks, and 946 per dollar, the highest since May 2023. The People's Bank of China (PBOC) unveiled these measures to stimulate economic activity amid concerns over the country's growth prospects. However, analysts warn that the yuan's appreciation could pose a risk to China's export sector, which remains a critical driver of the economy. At the close of the trading session on Wednesday, September 25th on the Nigerian Stock Exchange, 603.3 million shares were exchanged in 9,723 deals, amounting to a total market value of 12.57 billion naira. While the trading volume saw a 21% decline compared to the previous trading session, it witnessed a 7% boost in turnover despite a 20% drop in the number of deals. The NGX current market capitalization stands at 56.9 trillion naira. Out of 121 equities that traded, 31 ended in the green while 24 ended in the red. Leading the gainers was Seplat Petroleum Development Company, which increased by 10% to close at 4,103 naira 10 kobo per share. Flour mills and Honeywell Flour Mill also made significant gains. On the downside, Multiverse Mining and Exploration led the losers, dipping 9.9% to finish at 9 naira 10 kobo per share, alongside Caverton Offshore and AXA Mansard Insurance. In terms of trading volume, Fidelity Bank topped the charts with 122 million shares traded, closely followed by FBN Holdings at 109 million and Transcorp Nigeria with 82.6 million shares. The benchmark NGX All-Share Index climbed by 418.83 points, closing at 98,987.42, marking a 0.42% gain. And that's the news on Signature Business Morning. I am Thompsonime Natus.
It has been a very, very fine morning with you, sharing your 4 full hours with you. I mean, it's been fantastic. I want to appreciate you. Let's do this again tomorrow, same time, same station. My name is Charles Pius.
And I am Belinda Mobudu.
A very good morning to you once again and welcome to Signature Morning. My name is Godwin Sunday. The issues around humanitarian conversation has not led to phenomenal progress. Others will tend to disagree with this conversation, but then what we all know is that whatever we do for one, it's going to further affect or further improve on what our relationship in general with humanity. Well, this is my way of again saying welcome as we'll be talking this morning on localization of humanitarian response even in Nigeria. How quick are we to respond to humanitarian issues and crises in Nigeria? And joining me in this conversation is Mr. Garuba Adamu, and we will be putting the eyes into the cake on this conversation. Welcome to Signature Morning once again.
Thank you very much. Good morning to you. Good morning, our viewers.
Honorable Garuba, not here, we are more of a humanitarian conscious, but then it's as if it's not enough. Give us an overview. What do you make of our various humanitarian gestures as it stands right now, even in Nigeria?
Well, another good morning to you. Humanitarian is a holistic term. Why do I say that? We have humanitarian support when it comes to times of flood, fire, disaster, and other kind of. So, in what aspects is the welfare going to take place? The humanitarian services. We are concentrating on a region now, which is the north. If you look at it critically, humanitarian services, the structures are there. The reason how they have to implement it is there. But the people who are supposed to be the frontliners to get these things implemented, in one way or the other, perhaps they don't understand what they call the welfareism of the people they are there to implement it for. They have less humanity attitude within themselves first. They are not putting themselves in the shoes of those people they want to implement it for, to support them, to carry it out effectively, and to know that, yes, we have made impact in humanity services.
All right, so just to put the conversation in perspective, we're starting first from we being human, especially, in the western part, in the western part of Nigeria, the average Yoruba person is welcoming, and it's believed that African in general are welcoming. We like visitors, we like to receive visitors. In Kogi State, for example, when you get there, you're a visitor, the way they welcome you and treat you well. It won't give you some of the best meals to eat if you are visiting for the first time. Same thing with Cross River State, amazing, and it is like a generic thing in Nigeria.
Yeah.
But again, we're starting first with how do we treat ourselves as human first, before we now even start digressing to other deeper conversation, because we're looking at it from the perspective again where people tend to abuse humanitarian services.
Sure.
So a lot of people are now becoming skeptical.
Sure.
But then in the north, we also know we have a very warm reception when it comes to the north. If you get to Kaduna, you get to Gombe, they welcome you with
Sure.
an open hand.
Sure.
Even here in the north, I've not been to other part of the north. I
Okay.
can say, but the states I've been to, I can say for sure what they stand for and
Sure.
what they represent.
Sure.
But then we have cases where a lot of issues are happening, a lot of things are happening within this regions where we expect people, humanitarian services to be preferred and people to show humanity some form of virtue. or people turn blind eyes on some of this humanitarian services, on some of these services and some of the solutions that they're trying to provide. So I'm talking general. Do you think we are losing our virtue as a people by way of recent fears, where people begin to turn blind eyes to what they were supposed to do by being a human first before even thinking of which tribe or region you come from?
Well, interestingly enough, yeah, it's not turning the blind eyes. It's also, I said, people have been skeptical, to reach out a helping hand to the next person. But it's very few. We have the private sectors, we have the public sectors, we have the NGOs who can also work with the public. Being human first, lo and behold, I have been opportune to travel virtually most of the states in the north, from Katsina to Borno to Kano, Jigawa, Yobe, Kaduna itself, and Adamawa. So they have similar humanitarian activities when it comes to receptiveness. But back in those days, it was better than now. And due to the crisis that we have been faced in the northern region, it has made some people to be skeptical about it. So they leave most of these humanitarian activities and services to the well-to-do private sectors with the aims and the helps of the international organization, and basically they left it to the government of the day or government of the state. So individually, you see your neighbor maybe going hungry. You're even trying to say a 2 square meter, not to talk of a 3 square meter, your personal self. So helping hand to the next person, you tell yourself, I've not even been satisfied, so you first. Unlike before that, you see you are so respectful, your neighbor can come to your house, you can go to your neighbor's house, whatever you have, you can share. That's one of the humanitarian activities. As low as that, we're not even going to the broader aspect yet about those other disasters and the rest. But I was talking of what you can look at, how to bring your neighbor close, how to bring another human being close, how to cater for other people around you. But now most of these things have been left to the system because the system is not so favorable. So now people are turning blind eyes on those aspects. Humanitarian activities now, it has even gone so chaotic to the extent that even family members, they are not even having that humanitarian touch anymore. Because what I talk about humanity, talk about love. They say love yourself as you love your neighbor, love your neighbor as you love yourself. Do unto others how you want them to do unto you. These are some of the principles of humanitarians. But now the love is not there, the care is very low, Now everybody is all being what they call self-centered or egocentric. Things are becoming so low esteemed. How do we get there? How did we find ourselves here? What is the system? Is the system favorable for everybody? We keep on using the system because they use power to make things better for the human. They use power to ensure that services are being reached out, people have that favorism, but now things turn out to be the other way, and other people have to think out of the box and see how they can survive the other way also.
At this point, don't you think that the fact that 1 month's food, in terms of even cultural backgrounds, has largely led to these all discrepancies in our humanitarian services? Can culture affect love? Can culture affect growth? Can culture affect development even within a society?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure. Basically, culture is, I can say culture is everything. Culture affects your religion,
All right.
your love.
If, for example, can we now say that it's because of the fact that people's cultures varies, ethnic group differs, that's why people, can this also be a factor why people turn blind eyes against
I disagree with
humanitarian
that.
services?
No, I disagree with that. I don't want to go too far with that. I disagree with that. We have lived over some time, the decades I know I've been exposed to traveling around. you know, from either from the Edoa Uche axis to the Benue Makodi places to the Ogoja crossover places. They're all different cultures. And what the culture is preaching is love. As I said, yes, culture affects. So I don't believe that because the culture differs makes the humanitarian services low. No. Africa as a whole, not just even Nigeria now. Let's go broader a little. Africa as a whole, if you have the opportunity to step out of just even the boundaries of Nigeria, which is either Togo, Benin, or Niger, which is also very close around, they still have that receptiveness. Despite somewhere like Niger, they speak different language. Somewhere like Togo, they speak, you know, then Benin, they speak different language, but they still have that receptiveness. Why? They know that, yes, you know, they don't talk of we in Nigeria. What we were experiencing right now is the system that just happened within a decade ago, just from, let's say, far back as 8 to 9 years ago. Within a decade ago, that things have having turned over negatively, turned over in a very low esteem, where catering for the other person, no. And culture have everything, it entangles everything. Trust, the trust is loose now. You know, integrity is loose. Culture is encompassed with all these things.
Honorable Garuba, why I'm asking this is because we've seen in recent times where when people are alive, they're not being taken care of. People don't send them money. People don't show them care and love.
Yeah.
But as soon as they demise, we see people throw big parties. And this is becoming like a recurring thing, even in our present day. At what point do we miss these humanitarian virtues that we've inherited? Like you said, culture speaks volume in terms of love. At what point do we miss it?
Well, speaking ideologically and from a general perspective, it's something that it's not only just we as other Africans or black man or anything. As I said, generally, ideologically, worldwide. Once they believe you are alive, you are breathing, you can sustain, you can survive. No matter how much or how little you can get, the struggle goes on because everybody's fending for themselves or thereabout, except you have a group of people or you have an association, you know, or you have a community that they are aware of you, you have something doing together that they know about that. That's when the culture that you have imbibed or the love or integrity you are imbibed within that group of people, that community, they are aware of you. But the larger aspect of your connectivity, they might not really reach out to you then because they feel that you are alive, you are defending, or you are breathing, until when they know, maybe some people don't even know about your demise until after a week or a month. Before they know that, does it have people left? Does it have anybody that, you know, any or offspring or, you know, wife or children, any kind of thing, before they start doing that. So it's a general phenomenon globally. It's not just an African issue or it's not just a Nigerian situation, you know. But that's why, interestingly enough, they have something they call homes for the aged or elderly people. But here, we are not there yet. If you have reached the age of 80, 90, if you can reach 100 and you know you have nobody seriously to cater for you or so, is the community or the society or the government's tax to know that, okay, you should not be a burden to, you're not supposed to be a burden, but you should be a less stress to the younger ones. So they have a home that's prepared, that have cater for you, and they have people like the nurses and the rest that they feed very well. They give them the whole welfare they need to give them to take care of these aged people. But we don't have that here. And it's one of those things that is creeping into the system soon. But when they hear those kind of people are late or they are gone, that's it. They say, this person did this, he has done that. Fine. Not to talk of the younger ones. So institutes that will cater under the humanitarian services is very necessary. We have those institutes, but they are not well executed. The implementation, beautiful on paper, but the execution physically, no. Let's take, for example, there's a viral video that has been on when the flood situation, no, giving to them. What are they giving them? Bread. For crying out loud, how long will it do? You say you're going to buy like 100,000 bread. How many days will it do for them?
All right. As a further conversation, Honorable Garuba, should there be a time frame for response time to human cry, and when there is a deficiency in terms of our humanity drive? Should there be a time frame for it? For example, I need help, and you are the capacity to help me. Is there a time frame for it, for your response to me?
You know, what help I look at as supposed to be. If I'm to help you, you are also supposed to be empowered enough to help the next person. You should not continually be a dependent that, okay, this man has no other thing to do than just be helping you. So there should not be a time frame, one. But you should have that parameter. It's not that I'll stop helping you. At times, they help my husband and advice I'll give to you how to go about it so you can be sustainable. You can have your own continuity of life. You understand? So it should be a symbolic activity, symbolic relationship when it comes to those assistants. So if there's a help that you need, if you need a help, what can you do? How can you be sustainable? How can you do this? Maybe your problem is, for example, it's a 5 million naira issue, and I'm ready to give you 50 million naira. You should know that it's more than the problem. That means you solve your problem, you can invest in yourself, and even invest in another person. Right. That's a very good help. But a lot of us don't go that way. We do it the other way around now. Maybe your problem is 5 million naira. I'll just look for 1 million naira or 2 million. I give you as I've done. So I've not even been able to even blow you enough because your issue is more than, and I'm not giving you up to it. You know, that's another aspect of help. Either financially, emotionally, intellectually, the helps can come in every which way. So this humanitarian service we're doing, I just use an instance with this bread issue. That's not a help that can be sustainable. So you see, they'll keep on being dependent. They'll keep on asking for more, needing more. But there be a way have been created where they know that these people, what we are giving them, the sanitary health issue care is there, the food agriculture issue is there. They have created all those things. They have the shelter, the homes that they can really stay, you know, to cover them from the weather, harsh weather, or whatever. Security is being provided. Once all these things are there, these people know that yes, they have that comfort for them to also assist other people around them. But when you just give them out of 5 to 10 things, they just have only one. They're going to cater for the rest by themselves. See, the help must still continue.
All right, thank you for that quick response. A lot of NGOs right now are springing forth everywhere, and one of their mantra has always been that they want to support humanity. But then again, instead of supporting humanity, we've seen to a large scale that most NGOs are rather empowering themselves to maybe through wealth or through materials or what have you. Let's throw away. Let me hear your take on this issue on the diversification of public funds by various NGOs, governmental agency. Is it possible for we to have such a thing happen? We had whispers, but then you are more of a field person. So is it possible for NGOs to even divert public funds? Is it possible at all?
Yeah, well, in this world, there's nothing that's impossible. In a human life, nothing that's impossible. It's something that's what God cannot does not exist. So everything is possible. If you see something negative is taking place or positive is taking place, it's due to like minds. So for NGO to be able to divert fund, is public fund, is due to the public servants in that aspect. perhaps they might come with a positive mindset. But because if some of the public servants in that sector or in that sections or in that ministry or that developmental agency, they will want to let them know that, okay, how much do you want to do this work? The NGOs have submitted, the proposal or how to carry it out effectively. They can tell you we have a 15 billion naira work to do. The people will tell you, okay, we're going to give you 500 million naira. What are they going to do 500 million naira when they know the 15 billion naira work is not there? So what has happened to the remaining amount of money? It's not even like a 5 billion naira thing they're giving you. You have brought a proposal of 15 billion naira to take care of a situation for the next 6 months or 1 year as an NGO. Then what you hear or what you see, at first the delay is there, the frustration is there, the lack of integrity and lack of trust is being created there. You see how now funds are being diverted. Now, what comes up on air or what people hear about is the name of the NGO at the forefront. But actually, the actual stakeholders and key players of this system, they are at the back of this screen. They are at the back of the screen, they are back of the scene, doing what they need to do. So now it's the NGO, they'll say, okay, you said I did this, partner with this, for example, or UNA did this, or partner with that. And that's only what you hear. But how did they come about that they did not be able to deliver within the 6 months, within the 1 year? We have other factors that might be involved. If it's not the economic situation or hiking prices of things, you have the weather situation, climate change, now the flood there, rain there, sun there, inconduciveness of activities. So when we are to look at all this, this is how and why we perceive it as NGOs we are inviting public funds. I happen to be serving with some NGOs, couple of some NGOs, and I know what we go through. So I'm not saying it out of, I think so, no. I'm saying out of a few person in the aspect. As I'm talking to you, we're supposed to have a community services within the axis of Kwale Abaji to have this development of agricultural issue to empower them, let them be self-sufficient on their own. With the NGO that has been approved, the funds supposed to be have sent to do this, to carry it out, the farm implements, the tools, empowering this, training and retraining people as a project director. As I'm talking to you, this has kickstarted, supposed to have finalized since before February. But we're now in like September, looking at October in the next few days. How many months down? 8 months down the drain. So this is a very clear observation that I did not hear say, no, I know about it. And the other types of NGOs I know, either perhaps I've been a consultant in it and thereabout. Now, if they are supposed to carry it out, let's say the Senate, for example, they are aware of this NGO, it's an international base. The first thing that comes to their mind, how much are they going to get out of it? It's not what Nigeria is going to get or what our name is going to make up out of it. Or tomorrow, if I sit up from this side, if I stand up from this seat, next time I come to sit on this seat, know that some things have been created. The seat has been comfortable, the table is good. That means somebody was here, he has made it good. If we have that kind of mindset as public servants and partner with private sectors and other international organizations, I think we'll go a long way. I said it earlier, it's like minds. It's all about mindset. So if like minds of positivity comes together, a lot of positive things keep on taking place. Then if like mind of negativity come together, then I don't think we are going anywhere. But when you are mixing it up, sometimes the positive people want to move forward, the negative people might just be tying you backward.
But in a situation of this magnitude that you just painted, we have, where you said it's impossible for like minds to want to defraud even donors. But then I'm a bit lost.
Okay.
If you collect money for a certain purpose, which is to serve humanity, and you embezzle such a fund, should we call that a character deficit, or we should call it a person that is heartless, or a person that does not even have a heart at all? What should be the narrative? Because it looks like wickedness in a broad daylight, or don't you agree?
You have said it all. It's a choice issue. It's a choice issue. Already, the person or the people is not just a one-man show, but it's a one man that stands in front of the show. It's not a one-man thing. It's a one man that's going to take the bullet for like 10 people behind him. But the 10 people must have really instigated him and they have gotten their own share. And through him, things are making place. So the person, consider it heartless, consider it wicked, consider it whatever. I said it earlier on. It's a group of people who have that negative like minds to embezzle or divert fund that was supposed to be made for a particular purposes. We are seeing it all around. We are hearing about it all around. Some people say, leave it, he's just talking because, or she's just talking because he's not yet there or because they have not yet experienced it. No. There's always something for somebody. And I said it earlier on. If you have done well, you are standing up from that place. What is there for you? You must have sat there. You must have made some changes. You know that you're going to live there sometime. So that name you have made, you know that definitely your welfare will be provided for you. Some other amenities or some other incentives. The incentives will be provided for you. So you are supposed to appreciate that and be contented. Another language, lack of contention, you know, because you are there, you have the power, you have the money, you have the authority. So you feel that, okay, other people who are there to just try to say how they can make things happen. You don't want to make things happen through them. I don't want it to make things happen. But that kind of choice, I said, it's a choice of the mind. You being a minister in that place, or being a director of that place, or being a PAMSEC of that place, it's not good forever. No matter if it's 10 years or 20 years, you can never stay there forever. But what name have you left behind? What impact have you made on human services? What name have you made on the society? What impact have you made on the community? How much have they felt you? When they say, okay, this state governor left this state, these are the things the governor has put in the state. You must have made some impact in those people. Of recent, interestingly enough, some states like Katsina and Kwara, in a period of time, they have to reduce their food prices. So you see, it's more like it's a self-inflated situation. Most things we're going through. This is not God-caused issue. We inflated it on ourselves as humans. That's one of the basic things about choice again, negativity. You want to see some people suffer for not good reason. There's no reason for us to suffer. Give aside. Okay, say an individual that is trying to make Nigerian to be less in the burden of food crisis, Dangote. But there's some set of people, this is where we're coming from now, so let's be practical in what we are saying, where people see that, yes, it's happening ideologically, it's happening clearly. There's some small group of people that are not up to like 1 million. They are making decisions over what he wants to do with his product and how he wants to serve the human beings around the country. It's one of kind of small humanitarian services. Yeah, Dangote is going to get his remuneration for what he is doing. But these people, they want a larger share. So because of that, they say, okay, you're not going to go anywhere. It's another thing. You see, he's not a complete NGO. It's an organization, it's an industry that is trying to see how he can infect people, but he wants to partner with the public, with the government, but they want to see how they can make it like a frustrated effort. So this is another clear and clear example that of what we are saying. So how do we get here? The mindset, choice making. We just wake up one morning, someone has nowhere to drive to because he doesn't have a destination. He doesn't own his car and start driving. You cannot drive to somewhere you don't have a destination. So
Get about them. We'll take a short break right now. When we come back, we'll even talking about some more pressing issue that borders on humanitarian conversations, even as borders on the Federal Capital Territory. Viewers, go nowhere. Signature Morning continues in a moment.
yeah, thank you.
Welcome back, and just in case you're just joining us, this is still Signature Morning, your Signature TV, and we're talking to Mr. Adamu Garba on some of the humanitarian issues in Nigeria. But then we're narrowing it down again into the northern part of Nigeria, now, which brings me to this part of the conversation. In the far north, we've seen a lot of NGOs and a lot of persons being saddled with responsibility of providing support people for the flooded victim of Borno. In the far north, we've seen various organizations being saddled with responsibility of taking care of a lot of human support by provision of agricultural tools, machines, and what have you. But then we'll do a critical assessment on some of the outcome of this, especially within the north. The result is always far from reality. How did we get to this point?
Oh, Mr. Godwin. Oh. The North is a long story.
You want to share with us?
We don't share a little light, or shed a little light about it, because it's not something we can talk it out.
All right.
All at once. Number one, the North look at themselves as highly populated people. They have 19 states out of the 36 states, which is virtually more than half. The population is there. The feel population is number is power, which is true. But we are saddled with all these situations because we have some not only clueless, but also incompetent, some of the people who have to give good governance to the states of the northern parts of Nigeria. They just want, as we have discussed, we have identified earlier, they don't use power and sit on the seat, but they don't understand that it's service to humanity. You are not there to be served by the humans anymore. You are there to serve you are there as a servant. It's not very few northern states that they have that humanity services in them, embedded in them, because they know that it's from the people they are, and from the people, and onto the people they will return when they finish that service. We have evidence from some of the past governors that have realized it. Now they can work freely amongst the people because they know they have done something. Fine. So it's a recurring thing. So some of the NGOs, as you earlier asked or said, some of these NGOs who are saddled with responsibility, who are partnered with the state governors or state government, but they are not able to execute it to the time frame, due to the time frame also. It's one of those things we have identified. Sometimes due to some public servants at the state level also that are back of the scene or back of the screen. They'll know what to say or what to talk. Then now those NGOs or those private organizations that do the humanitarian services, they are the ones that their names are front there. But if it is spelled out and some of these state governors or state governments, they stand on their feet and say, my people first, our people first, because you are part of the people. It's as good as that.
Garba, I'm even taking the conversation even far deep into Plateau State.
Okay.
And there's a scenario that played out in Plateau State where fertilizers were made for farmers.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be shared to farmers.
But was sold to them.
It was rather sold to them.
Yeah.
Fertilizers were shared to NGOs to distribute to certain people, even in Gombe. Similar scenario. So I'm asking, that's why I'm even asking at this point in time, within the north, you see people going through challenges. Apart from fertilizers, we've seen education where books were supposed to be given to schools. and those books never saw the light of day. People contribute money to give to a lot of NGOs and private bodies to do a lot of things in the north. And when we measure up results to performance, it's in a near state of comatose. I'm asking again, how did we not get to this point? Because we are known in the north for being truthful, honest, and fair in our dealings with humans. But right now, it is almost becoming the order of the day, which is deceit, using humanitarian clothing. So I'm asking, was there a beginning point to this whole trajectory and to where we are? Because we need to establish these premises.
Sure.
So how did we get here to start with? Was it intruders that came and influenced the Northerners, or something changed? That's what I'm asking. That's why I started this conversation with our cultures.
Yeah.
But how did we get to this point? How did we change to this point?
Well, it is there's a saying that goes that 1,000 steps begins with one step. 1,000 mile, you want to cover 1,000 mile or so, it's a step. So it's a gradual process that diffuse into the system gradually. And how did it start? The people who know about it, most of them are not there. But it was like gradually happening without people taking note of it. It started from a sector or a section. Then people started realizing, if you can do like this, let's do like that. Okay, let's just make it practical now again. At first, from the public sector, we have these public schools, we have the government schools, we have all the whole government schools, all the federal government schools, Then some people started building their own personal schools. How did they get the money to build their personal schools? Public servants building private schools. You see how it started gradually. It started 1 man, 2, 3. Western private schools, they started gradually. Then now people start diverting and say, okay, if you can have, I can have, I can have. Then now they started going gradually into agriculture. Now the government might decide, or in the ministries, they will decide to sell or share maybe rice, because it's one of the common food then. They will share bags of rice. Then people look at it at the market. They share bag of rice at the rate of maybe 30,000, 40,000 to you. They'll break it down into your salary range. You can pay for 3 months, maybe 10,000 or 15,000, depending on how much they share it. Then someone carry that same bag of rice to the market and sell it at 85,000 naira or 80,000 naira. Now that person in the market will buy it at that, because you see that he has like 10,000 naira grade. Then he will resell it to the end user at 90,000 naira. You see how gradually it has started. Now we are going about the fertilizer. It was shared, supposed to go down, but what happened? They feel that the farmers need it, and the farmer know that if he gets it, he'll put the price inside his crop to sell to the sellers at the market. The same books that's supposed to be written not for sale. As I said, in Nigeria or in Black Massa, nothing is impossible. There are people who know how to go about it to change just the cover of the book. Some people can go through the pay to change that not for sale. They look for the publishers, they make it not for sale to be wiped out. Now they'll sell it again to the market. It can go on and on and on, because these are things that we see almost every day. If you have your kids in school, you go and buy the books, you see what is going on. And some of these private schools, they partner with some of these publishers, because you can't imagine during our days, the books I know, or some of the textbooks I've used, apart from my notebooks, some of the textbooks I use, some of my younger ones, they also used it. But now some of the textbooks they use now, no. If you use the textbook, there's a part that you do some work, you write, and so it's virtually not of use again to the next person. You see another gradual aspect of this in the north. It's not only just in north, in Nigeria as a whole, but it's more feasible in the north because we hardly complain. The northern, we keep on going through pain and keep on going through what is going through, the tremendous activities and actions. You say it will go better, it will be better, it will go better, it will be better. He'll keep on managing his pain. The only thing now, something that he uses 5 naira to buy a whole buck. Now that 5 naira cannot even buy half of it. You say, at least if I can get some, I'll manage it. So the citizens, I'll use the word masses, they're all citizens of the country. They have the right they have the constitutional right, but not all of us in the north understand the constitutional right. They just know that I wake up, I thank God, I can exist, I can even eat one meal in a day, I thank God. You know, if you look at it, the highest number of the less privileged who are on the street, that they call them the almajiris, but we call them those scholars that's supposed to be training these children under the Islamic guideline. They don't have that. They have not eaten for 2 days or a whole day, but they have to read. After that, they go out and ask for arms, how to survive. They can go into anything to do it. Of recent, there's a part in Kano that a whole street, it's a viral video also, but the friend that videoed it sent it to me directly and said, can you imagine the governor or the state government of Kano, a whole street, more than a 10-kilometer walk, is filled up with ladies, girls under age from 3, 2, down to 15. And you have a section again that the mothers are there, elderly ones, aged ones. These are ladies, these are girls. Where is the humanitarian services there?
Honorable Garba, I think that at this point we need to even look at this thing holistically. It is becoming more worrisome lately when we look at some of our passion and drive for humanity. Then one will begin to ask salient questions as, shouldn't we at this point be having conversations around localization of our humanitarian services in terms of NGOs? Why are we not having the conversation of every NGO that should spring forth will be to solve a particular issue and must be local? Because the idea of having an NGO in Abuja that doesn't understand the challenge of the people in Taraba and is the one championing the cause to solve problems in Taraba, it looks too vague. Or what do you think about this?
To be candid with you, once you call anything NGO, it's called non-governmental organization that encompass not only the people of that locality, it encompass people of different region. You must have the power and the knowledge and the know-how of your region. You're part of the NGO, or you have a connection in that region that you can tell me what is wrong with that part. So we have them, and I told you I'm an NGO person, so and I'm still involved in it. So there's called the connectivity. I am here, I have people in Bruno. I know the strength. That's why some NGOs, they have branches within states. So the localization of NGOs, yes. The conversation of NGOs, yes. But the talking and not do, no. We are very good in good English, grammar, talking and writing. But the implementation for it to be sustainable, we are looking at the sustainability aspect in the action-driven part of the NGOs. We have some action-driven mindset involved in NGOs who are ready to carry out activities, but that talk is always ongoing. They keep on postponing or suspending actions that need to take place to serve the humanitarian services. You know, who are the people doing that? No word that can take place without action, and no action can take place without funding, support, financial ones, and the rest. The emotions might be there, they are ready. Their intellectual aspect is there, they are ready. But the logistics to ensure that these NGOs carry it out effectively is a problem. And once these NGOs are looking at the fact that we need to partner with our state government, or we need to partner with our federal government, and the federal government, they claim that their hands are already filled up. Instead of looking inward see how they can solve their problem inside. They prefer to go outside to go and employ, or will I use the word, even import foreigners. I think that's what we're good at. We're importing foreigners to come and serve us here. So at least we're good at something. We're importing foreigners to come and do our services here, to do other things. It's not, why do we have all this knowledge? We are very skilled, we are talented, we are gifted. Use what you have to get what you want within your brain. But we here, our NGOs, we have realized that before, as a Nigerian NGO goes to Nigerian government or in every atmosphere, either the Ministry of Sports or so, or even the FCT ministers, before it can attend to you and the rest, you see a Chinese company or an Indian man or thereabout, a Lebanese place, they will come, they say they want to open social institute or they want to have social place to do social liberation of human being and the rest. And they will attend to that person because they feel that he comes in with a foreign affair. You understand? So those kind of aspects, it's necessary for us to look inward, appreciate our own. There was a government far back then that said, use making Nigerian goods.
Yeah.
If the law is passed from up and we stick to it sincerely, make use of Nigerian goods, appreciate your country, Nigerian first, all those rules and laws and properly implemented, and they are being followed, the next person that will come on seat should appreciate it and see how it grows. If you are wearing making Nigerian shirt, fine. Or you say our fabric house, a lot of things will be reduced. There are some NGOs who what they want to do, doesn't want to go into empowerment or fashion design and the rest. They will have a very big hall that can contain more than 1,000 people. You know, I just mentioned about Kanu issue. Most of these ladies that are doing what they are doing there, they can have a big hall, big factories of machines, beads, and the rest. These are ladies' work they can do. There are men that do that, but these ladies off the street can be off. Yeah. It's a humanitarian service. So when we sit down and say that sometimes we have clueless people in the government, and we have some who are not competent enough.
Garba, let's even look at this from, since you mentioned the government, there are blueprints being put by the government to ensure that things of this magnitude can be combed and issues like this can be ironed, I believe. But then, of late, it's as if that when people do all of this, they get away with it because we've not seen any form of arrest. We've not seen any form of sanction in the open to serve as a deterrent for people. Is this the right way to go as a people in order to ensure that humanity and the human race and humanitarian services are being given the top-notch priority that it deserves?
Well, the blueprint from the government, as I said, we have always been saying it. I was still going around the clock saying this.
Well, of course, there's a blueprint from the government.
Yes, there's a blueprint. It's as good as the talk and not do. It's as good as we have everything on paper, but it's not being implemented. These are just the ways we're still talking. Interestingly enough, why most of these people are not being properly scrutinized, even they claim to get scot-free or go scot-free. Sometimes, that's the way I've said it, and I'm still saying it. I said with all open-mindedness. At times, they might not come to the limelight and say, this person did this, person did this, person did this. No. They might just use one person as an scapegoat that takes the fire for the rest. That's the only person that might put in the front, and how this system of Nigerian governance policy is always being run. If they bring somebody today on air, everybody's concentrating on his problem and everything, they create another problem to make you forget about the first problem. It's a systematic gameplay that. So if they bring another problem today, they create another problem, you forget the other one. So if they bring, okay, far back as the time of, let me even just use this era. Let's see when they say Dasuki Gate. Dasuki Gate came to reign for some time. It was wiped out, and they brought some type of airplane, airline, you know. So they would just want the people who have something to talk about. So it's problem even the system creates for the people to be talking about. And most of the times, our media houses and the rest, if we are still channeling our strength positively to be looking for these kind of topics that we can talk about concerning the humanitarian services, concerning the humanity of the country, the way forward, how to drive for the interest of the people, I think also it will help the mindset of those who are on the seat, because they now know that these people, the media are passing message to us. Now, these people will have it in their mind that next time you're coming to look for that seat that you are sitting there outside the House of Rep or a Senate or a governor, now these media are helping these people to realize where they are coming from. They are not giving it the constitutional right and the directions, where they know that, oh, you were there and the records are on board. Technology don't lie. The media have their records. So at times they can play your record for you about 10 years ago, 20 years ago, of what you have done or what you say you're going to do and you didn't do. So we're good at the talking, we have been conversing for more than how many years on the democratic issues that we are there. You know, we have left an era that then they talk less and do more. And that era has made a lot of impact that Nigerians are still enjoying till tomorrow. If you know what I'm saying about, before this democratic time came, the people might have looked at it negatively because not everything will favor everybody, you not favor 100%, but there are a lot of things that be created during that era, and we are still benefiting from it today. And if they say, they don't say for long, they only sit down, you can see a place that less than 50 people sit down and decide for the country, and they ensure it is implemented. If they say within 24 hours, we don't want to hear PIM, you don't have any right to say anything, because they don't have time to talk too much. They can call a contractor or call an NGO or thereabout. Okay, you want to do this? Okay, this is how it goes. Like the people first, make sure you get it done. Superb came through that era. PTF came through that era. You know, building the Abuja road to Kano came through that era. A lot of institutes were created through that era. And most of the people who lived in that era, they have done some interesting things. But here, we have this food dragging system. That's why I use the word. Sometimes some of them are clueless and they are incompetent. You know that you have a time frame of 4 years or less than 4 years, because the fourth year, you don't even have it on the seat anymore. The third year, I started thinking of how to do the next campaigning. So you have less than 3 years to do what you want to do. So maximum, give or take, comfortably, understand? And conveniently, the truth be told, you have 2.5 years on your seat.
For granted, but do remember that the conversation doesn't end on this table. Conversations continue on all our social media lando. Should you want to join us on our social media lando, you can, of course, follow through the links that are displayed